and welcome to the Retro Ed Podcast. We're your host, Alex.
And I'm John.
And it's good to be back.
Oh, it is so good to be back. It has been far too long.
Yeah,
too much has happened.
Yeah, I feel like we've done that for the past few podcasts. It's like, it's been a bit of time, whatever. But at least we're still trying to do something whenever we can.
Yep.
It's been a crazy, I'd say, few months at least.
Yeah.
But, I guess really before we get started, I'm going to just talk about where people can find the podcast.
Go ahead.
Of course, we have it on iTunes. It's also up on Podbean, which allows people to listen to it on their favorite Android devices.
Woohoo.
And
cross market, motherfuckers.
And it's also on YouTube. We try to upload it up on there. We pretty much we trying to make it accessible for anyone who wants to listen to it anywhere.
Yes, we prefer YouTube.
Yeah, well, at this point, it doesn't matter. I just track the views on everything. So, yeah, and we're still getting considering we haven't really gotten onto or uploaded too much recently. We're still getting some views.
Yeah, we haven't been consistent, and some of that was my fault with the job overnight, and then,
Yeah, and I work some ridiculous hours sometimes too, so it gets hard. But we're still trying to.
For the most part, when you're getting out of work, I'm going into work.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it like 1,000 times.
Yeah, I work overnights. Enough said.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. How come they don't record all the time? The fat one works overnights. That's pretty much what it boils down to. But I got new days off. I got one day off in the weekend, so we can hit it.
Yeah, so we're hoping to be a little more regular.
A little more consistent.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we have so much poo-poo to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
We have tons. And I think let's not just bury the lead, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the brilliance of J.J. Abrams and Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, so what was your first reaction to the trailer?
My first reaction was, I need tissues to wipe up my pants. Because, it's the teaser in the most purest form of a teaser, because I still don't know what the fuck the movie's about. But what I do know is when I watched that, my mind and my heart and everything about me being a Star Wars fan went, that is Star Wars. That's not this new nonsense that we've seen over the last 10 years from Lucas with all the shitty special effects and CG and green screen. That's what I grew up with. They're actually standing in sand.
Yeah.
That's a dune behind them because they're on location. Just the noises that the speeder bike made and the little soccer ball droid, I was like, this is it.
You know, it was funny watching the trailer. It felt like a Star Wars film. It didn't. It felt more like a Star Wars film than the three prequels.
Yes.
And of course, that's just watching the trailer. I don't know much else. The whole thing with it being called The Force Awakening. I'm just wondering when it went to sleep.
It went to sleep. It went to sleep in 1999 when Phantom Menace came out, when we all fell asleep watching that movie. That's when it fell asleep for me.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the first three, it's Star Wars. I don't have to go into details. Listen to this podcast because you're a geek and you want geek information, you want to know about geek stuff, you want to hear people talk about geek stuff. So I don't have to explain the Star Wars movies to you. Someone might have to explain the new ones to you because, all the tax talk, I don't know what it's about. But there is something lost in the new three, which is passion.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't want to call it a study, because it really wasn't a study. It's more like I've talked to a few people that I know. Some of them who saw the original, Golden Trilogy, and then the people who saw, they saw basically A New Hope, Empire, and Return before the prequels, and then people who I don't know where they were living underneath a rock, whatever. But they ended up seeing the prequels first, and it freaks me out. Like the people who have not seen the original 3 first and saw the prequels first like those better.
It's because, alright, I guess it's like what reboots or remakes. Like, I know a lot of younger people under the age of 23 love the new Turtles movie, but you get someone over 25 and they despise it. It's about seeing something for the first time. There's something to, like, oh, this is Star Wars, this is amazing. Look at all the fancy, shiny stuff in the lightsaber battles. And that's like, oh, so much action, and that's not what Star Wars is about. It's never been about. It's a character film, and the new ones are clearly not that. They're just, I guess you call them action movies. First, the Phantom Menace is an action movie. Yeah. That's intergalactic C-SPAN. That's what the Phantom Menace is. that's what I see as the Phantom Menace is intergalactic C-SPAN.
Wow.
With pod racing.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Liam Neeson in it.
I thought he was really boring. But
it wasn't as good as the original. 3, I think that's what we're pretty much coming down to it with it. Well, and I think you're right. It's a good point. Is that like if you haven't seen what made Star Wars,
right,
and then you see these other things that kind of like,
Also, people are desensitized now. Like, the first 3 are paced, and there's action where there needs to be action and stuff like that. But we have movies with giant fighting robots that transform into cars, and we're so desensitized, and we want so much action. And in an age where you can put literally anything on screen for as long as you want.
Yeah.
You go back and watch old movies about, people talking in a desert and in outer space, you'd be like, all right, what's this?
Yeah, with puppets and...
Yeah, did you see the one with the Sith where the first opening scene is like a 30-minute battle in space? Now that's a movie. I'd be like, yeah, but why are they fighting? No one gives a shit why they're fighting. In Star Wars, there was fights and there was reasons why they fought.
Yeah.
To me, Vader versus Obi-Wan and A New Hope will always trump Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson fighting Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Because they only fought because they had to, because it was in the script. Vader and Obi-Wan fought in New Hope because they had to. Because that's where their whole story of them leading up, even though we didn't see it before, led to that battle, and it made sense. It's the slowest, less action-y fight scene in the world, but it's one of the best, just because you gave a crap about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and it's, you really, that focus really allows you to care about these characters who are dying and everything. Yes. It's like Clone Wars, the second prequel.
Right.
It's like you see all these people dying, and it's like, well, do you care as much? Like, you don't really get to know a lot of them. Even it's. You don't really care about them so much because you don't get to know them like you do, like with Luke Skywalker.
Exactly. Look at Revenge of the Sith as a prime example. Anakin goes on a killing fest, and he kills younglings, children. I didn't give a shit because I didn't know who the kids were. Am I supposed to be only sad because he's killing kids?
Yeah, and how it was done, I think it wasn't as good. Of course, granted, we have to think about who directed it. It was.
Yeah.
I feel like he's more of an idea man.
Yes. Because if you break it down, the best 2 Star Wars, Return of the Jedi and Empire.
Empire is the best one, at least in my mind, without a doubt.
And he didn't direct it.
It wasn't directed by him.
He didn't direct those ones.
Yeah. And so it's like, you'd think that... I think at this point with him, it's more about pride to a certain degree. But And now with J.J. Abrams, he's directing that new one. It feels like a new, I guess more.
He loves Star Wars. He has passion about.
Yeah, and so I think he's going to try doing it good. He's going to try doing some justice with it. Kind of like what he did with the new Star Trek. It was one of those things where I was kind of worried about it, but I like J.J. Abrams films. I don't know if there's a single one that I don't like.
He knows how to. He can pace a movie better than most people, but it's about. He makes you give a shit about shit you didn't know you gave a shit about.
Yeah, it's like J.J. Abrams, just with his history of some of the films he's done, even some of his original stuff, like 8 millimeter.
Yep.
No, Super 8.
Super 8. Super 8. Yeah,
Super 8.
I was like, he directed the porn movie with Nick Cage?
No, Super 8. Yeah. Great film there. Like that one took me back. I felt like I was watching Goonies.
Yeah.
It's like he took that kind of movie and he brought it back, and it's like, oh wow, like I forgot I could feel this way while watching a film again.
Yeah, it's true. Like I've always said there's two types of people: there's filmmakers and directors. And lately, there's been almost all directors. Hey, we got this script, come direct it. Like, granted, that's what JJ's doing, but he's turning them into he's bringing back movie magic.
Yeah, like
it's a dying art form, movie magic. Movie magic is dying because you don't need movie magic when you can literally just, hey, we need the shot, let's add some CG here, and all the movie magic is gone. But JJ, he puts movie magic into it. He does things in camera, makes you care. He knows how to develop a character and take you on a ride.
Yeah, he really does. He knows how to do that. Honestly, he's the best director to choose to make a Star Wars film at this point in the game.
I think there's another person I would love to see Jon Favreau direct.
I knew you were gonna say it because he's the only other guy I could think of too.
I would love to see if they would give Favreau the Boba Fett movie.
Yep.
Oh, give him the Yoda story, or give him Episode 8. Because I guess JJ's only doing Episode 7. Give Jon Favreau Episode 8. Because if it wasn't for Jon Favreau, we wouldn't be getting all these Marvel movies, because he did such a good job with Iron Man, and he fleshed that character out. Well, Downey Jr. fleshed the character out, but Favreau just, he's a good director.
Yeah, he did an awesome job. It's one of those things, like, even Amy, my wife, she talks about Favreau with high praises.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's funny is that she didn't pay attention to that stuff until she started dating me.
Right.
And now she's like, oh man, Jon Favreau. She's like, I love that guy.
You know what he's doing now, right?
No, what is he doing?
He's doing a live action version of the animated version of the Jungle Book.
Oh, cool. That's one thing I find him to be, I guess that makes him so interesting is that he doesn't stick with a single genre.
No, he doesn't.
It's like he'll go to different things. Like then he do what was it Zephyra or Zathora or something?
Zathora, yeah. That's what made him know he can do Iron Man, because the big robot in that movie. Let me read this cast to you.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's go.
Jon Favreau is directing it. October 9th, 2015. All right. Scarlett Johansson is Khan. Idris Elba is Shere Khan, which is fucking brilliant. Christopher Walken's Ken Louis. Ben Kingsley is Bagara. But here's what you want to know: who playing Blue the Bear? Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that.
But that's what's going on now. That's what he's doing, and I think it's gonna kill it. He's doing it. It's based off the
Yeah.
The Disney animated movie. So.
There's one other director that might be able to do a Star Wars film, and it's only because of Avengers.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
You know what, dude? After watching Guardians a million times, James Gunn would probably do a really good Star Wars movie.
Wait, who?
James Gunn. He directed Guardians.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
We haven't talked about it, but I bought Guardians. I seen it when it came out, and I liked it.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters twice.
But I bought it, and because my buddy let me borrow it, and I watched it like 3 days in a row, and then he took it back, and I was like, oh. So I bought it that night, and I watched it. So many. That movie, I love that movie. It's up in my top 5 now with Jaws and E.T. and shit like that.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like I could watch that movie, over and over and over again. It's like that ensemble cast.
Yeah,
it really.
It's definitely different than all the other Marvel movies because it's more fun. It's a very fun, feel-good movie.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is.
It's the only Marvel movie that sets you up to cry in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, actually. they really... I feel like they shot for the fences, and they did it. They made it. With that movie.
Yeah, because they took a movie about characters that no one knew or gave a shit about. I watched the review, and the best review I've ever saw about a movie was this guy who reviewed Guardians. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Jeremy Johns, I'm not sure. And he said, didn't care about Guardians of the Galaxy until I was watching the movie and the raccoon started crying, and then I cared that the raccoon was crying.
Yeah.
That sums it up about Guardians of the Galaxy. They made a CGI raccoon cry, and you get your shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more accurate than that. That is like the best analogy I can think of. But we got off Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's much to discuss.
Oh yeah, a lot of things to discuss. But yeah, I ended up seeing Guardians twice in theaters.
Yeah,
it was so good. After I saw it, I was like, no. I told my wife, you have to go see it. No, it's worth it. Just trust me. She's like, well, you already saw it. Like, why can't we just see a movie we both haven't seen? I'm like, no, I'm okay with going back to see this movie again, honey.
Yeah.
I'm seriously okay with it. Like, yeah, but you've already seen it. I'm like, I want to spend the money. I want to throw my money at these people.
Don't you stifle me. I need to give Marvel more.
Yeah, and so convinced her to go see it. Of course, she loved it.
Yeah, who does? I don't know anybody who doesn't. I met one person who was like, it could have been better than I thought. Well, then you can't think. Because how did you think it was going to be better if you didn't even know who the fuck they were?
Yeah, it's like it's sometimes what happens, it's that hype factor.
Yeah, everybody's like, it's amazing, and they watch it like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like listening to people when they talk about movies now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much hype that gets brought into a lot of these movies that come out, and I say, yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
It's like, was it the last, I think James Bond film or something.
Oh yeah, the one everybody's like, it's amazing. I watched it. This is boring as shit.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like I just kind of, because of how amazing people talked about it, I'm like, all right, fine, I'll see it. It's gotten to the point now. Whenever people overhype stuff to me, I feel like it's gonna suck.
Yeah. You got a charm. There's a lot that Guardians has to offer.
Yeah.
The comedy, the feels, the action. It's a well-rounded, good movie.
Yeah, great movie. Yeah, I know. You're trying to get back on track with Star Wars, and I went off again.
That's fine. I get that about Guardians all day. But yeah, Star Wars, man.
Yeah, I'm officially excited to go see it. Granted, it's a Star Wars movie. They're gonna take my money either way.
Yeah. I did see the shitty 3 theaters. And that's another thing, like, we talked about how people watch the new ones, they're like, oh, it's better than the original. It's really sad. Unless they really are doing it, like, there's the emails that got leaked that on, I think, next December, probably a week or so before they come out in theaters, the new one comes out in theaters, Disney has plans to re-release the original 3 unaltered.
Yeah, I hear about that a lot.
But if that doesn't happen, then it's a dead film, and these kids and these people that are under our age have never seen Star Wars, truly.
in its original form. And you know what's funny is that like I've always been about like let's get the director's cut because that's what the way the director really saw it.
Yeah, me too.
As an art form and all that stuff. And this is the one time where I'm like
Well, usually the director's cut just adds jokes or something. Or adds a scene or something, or a little more violence.
Yeah,
they don't change characters by having Han shoot second.
Yeah. It's just... It's so... It's upsetting to me with what he did, and George Lucas. Sometimes he needs to I get the idea. You never feel like it's done, but really.
Then do what Spielberg did. He didn't like the fact that he had guns in E.T., so he took them out. But if you bought the Blu-ray, you got both copies.
Yeah, well, you know what? George did do that in one version of a DVD release.
It wasn't DVD, it was VHS.
No, it was DVD, because I have it.
I don't remember that. Do you? I thought they were never released on... I thought it was just the new DVD stuff.
If you got the special edition DVDs, it comes with the new edit and the original edit.
So wait, you have them on DVD?
Yeah.
You cocksmoker! I was almost bought a laser disc so I can get the laser disc versions, and you've been sitting on DVD copies this whole time, you son of a bitch. Because I have Star Wars on DVD. I have the box set, the black and silver one, and it's the shitty '97 release with the bad CG and the singing little purple twat.
No, it's what edition is it? It's like a special edition version.
It's Star Wars. Everyone is called special edition. You're not helping.
But it's
the George Lucas Oops edition.
What was it? Maybe it's the gold one, the limited edition.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't know it was on DVD.
Yeah. If you go to Amazon right now, real quick, just type in Star Wars. I think it's limited edition. Let me just. Yeah, type in Star Wars limited edition. First one on top. It's DVD. It's 2 discs. It comes with the enhanced and the original theatrical versions.
Is it just New Hope?
It's all. You can get all 3.
Okay. Because I still refuse to buy it on Blu-ray.
Oh, I got it for Christmas on Blu-ray.
Oh, I know, but I still refuse.
They're all 3 of them. There is a version for all 3. I don't know if they have like a box set.
Mhm.
Well, let's see. Box set.
So that's what I want. I want the unreleased, unaltered Blu-ray edition, and it better come out next December. That's all I got to say. I'll pay $100 for just 3 movies. I don't need the new shitty 3 ones. I just want the original trilogy unaltered. Because, god damn it, that's what I grew up with, that's what I love, and that's what I watch.
See, I don't know if there's a box version of it. You might have to buy them separate.
You cockstains.
Cool, well, that's how I bought mine.
Right.
Because they released them separately. So as soon as they came out, because I was working at Toys R Us at the time, so they'd come out, I'd see it on the shelf, I'd grab it, hide it in the back, so I could buy it. I did that with all 3 of them.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, wait until payday and grab them.
Oh, you robbed people.
I didn't rob them, I just hid it so I could buy it.
You robbed people of their youth.
No, I was saving my youth.
Fair enough. I didn't know they were on DVD.
Yeah.
The only copy I knew of that was...
It has a gold label.
Is Laserdisc.
It has a gold label on top. It comes with the enhanced, the edits George Lucas made, and then the original theatrical version.
Right.
And I hope I haven't worn out the original theatrical discs. I'm actually have to get those from my parents' house. Bring them to my house.
I haven't watched an unaltered version of Star Wars in about 20 years.
I guess one of these Sundays when we're going to do a podcast, we'll have to.
Yeah.
I'll bring one over.
Yeah.
Watch them.
You will. And I think the last time I watched it was VHS, and it was one that we taped off the Disney Channel in like late 80s.
I used to have like one of the original VHS versions of A New Hope, because I when I first discovered that, I loved it so much as a kid. Like my dad purchased me my own copy of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of my mom's favorite movies, so every time it was on, she would watch it. And one time she recorded them when Disney was doing that, hey, subscribe to us for $20 a month thing, and every weekend it would be free, the Disney Channel, so you can get a preview of it.
Yeah.
And I think on Sunday it was like Walt Disney Presents. They used to play movies on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, it was like 3 Sundays in a row, and she just recorded them all. So I think I actually still have those tapes. I'll have to go back and watch them. The bumpers and shit. I love watching like the old commercials and shit. I do that on YouTube every now and then. It brings you back.
Oh yeah, of course.
It was good times.
Oh yeah, it's good.
We've done that, right? So, when we first got YouTube, when we first discovered YouTube, I think it was Zach. We went back and watched all the old Disney Channel commercials and shit.
Oh yeah.
It's good for the soul, people. Just saying.
So, to segue into another subject, I feel like we've pretty much beat Star Wars at least half to death.
No, it's Lucas. He beat it and sold it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that thing that you've been working on, or do you want to save that for another podcast?
What, my divorce? Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk about the movie. I thought you talked about the other thing that happened.
No. I wasn't gonna,
I won't get into it on the podcast. I'll just say this, kids. If you collect 80s and 90s toys, and your fiance says she's cool with it, she's not. It's a little piece of information you can have for free. But yeah, we can talk about the movie.
Yeah.
What would you like to know, sir? Since I've just said to you random times, working on the film, I got a part for you. Good help. It is called Only One Night.
Give us a quick synopsis if you're okay with it.
I'm quite. Oh, you went sexy voice on me. Try to seduce me into information. Yeah. It's a very simple movie with a lot to it, if that makes a lot of sense. I wanted to finally do something that's full and it's got a lot going on to it, just not about people, clearly about people, but I wanted to give them all something to do. So the film is about a man named Pete Thompson. And in the film, Pete Thompson owns a music store. It sells instruments and equipment and stuff like that. And the film opens up at a 1-year anniversary party for the small town they live in. They have a radio station called Retro Ave, plug. Mm-hmm. And it's the 1-year anniversary of when that radio station took off and became a big hit. So that's where we pick up at in the beginning of the film. We get to meet all the characters that are at the party. Pete also manages a band. And their band is playing at the 1-year anniversary. So we meet all the male lead characters, and then at the party is the female leads who are there to enjoy the party because they like the radio station. Pete supplied the radio station with all the equipment for the radio station, so Pete has a tie to the radio station. Now, what the film is about Pete, and he's dealing with, a few years after being left by his fiancée. Ironic. And he's been dating here and there, and he's never had something that's lasted longer than a couple weeks. So he's about ready to give up on dating, as you find out in the beginning of the film. He's talking to his friends about how they're like, your standards are too high, blah, blah, blah. And so what happens is, before he gives up on dating, he decides to post an ad for a night out with a female, but with no strings attached, no standards, no expectations. At the end of the night, you just go your separate ways. Because he feels dating is fake. Because when you go on a date with somebody, you take them to a fancy restaurant, you dress up, and you give them this highlight reel of yourself, and down the road, eventually you're going to hear, like, what happened to that nice romantic person I met back when we first started dating. Which is fake because a lot of people don't like going to fancy restaurants and dressing up. Some people like just, hey, let's go to McDonald's. Hey, let's just go bowling. Hey, I like to fucking swear. But when you're on your dates, when you're first getting to meet somebody, you're not going to do all that stuff. You're going to take them to the nicest restaurant. You're going to dress the best. You're going to watch what you say. So he feels that because of that in dating, you're never going to be able to get over that threshold of, well, you changed because you're not the same person I first met. So he posts an ad, and the young lady, Belle, answers, and they go on a date, and they have a very wonderful evening. They just do a lot of stuff. Don't worry about it. They don't call it a date. Well, he doesn't call it a date. And they just have this great time. At the end of the night, they go their separate ways. But there was a solid connection there because they were both able to be themselves. And instead of following said girl at the end, when he goes home, he deletes his profile. And all he knew about her was her name was Belle. So a couple of days later, he realized, like, I made a mistake. I gotta find this girl, but he doesn't know anything about her, but her name is Belle, and that she listens to the radio station that he helped get off the ground. So I'm not gonna give too much away about how he finds her and stuff, but it's very sweet and romantic. And that's the gist of Only One Night.
Yeah, and you actually have a part written up.
Oh, I have a part for Alex Tronick. That is the DJ of Retro Avenue, DJ Throwback.
Yeah, so tell me more about this part. Sell me on the part.
Well, Alex, you'll be playing a DJ of an 80s radio station. That's all I got, really.
So will you be hearing me on the radio here or there throughout the movie?
Yes and no. All right.
Like,
Alright, the best way I can explain this, okay? Michael Caine said how he chooses to do a movie. And I think you should take his advice. Michael Caine once said, I read the bloody script. If I'm on the front page and I'm on the back page, I do the fucking movie. And you are on the first page and you're on the last page. That's the best way I can sell it to you.
So you had to bring Michael Caine into this.
If the character they want me to play is in the front page and the back page, I do the fucking picture.
That's funny.
And, well, you're in the first main, it opens with a narration.
Okay.
And then it's just shots of different relationships with a narration. And I actually have been asked by a couple of the females if I can take out a line. And I'm going to do it because apparently America's getting very negative about spousal abuse. So I'm going to take out the line. So I can tell you what the line is during a narration.
Since you're taking it out of the movie,
yes.
Are we allowed to talk about this line right here, right now on the podcast?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
And now when I tell you the line, you can tell me if you thought it was too far.
Okay.
During the open narration, it starts with two teenagers making out, and Pete's narrating, and he's like, young love, look at it. And he's like, ooh, it's kind of hot. And the other kid starts like going up the girl's leg, and he's like, oh no, you idiot, you blew it. And the girl sits up, he's like, no, she just wants to talk, because all she thinks you want is sex, which is true. This is a high school relationship. It's only meant for sex. It's the front nine, if you will. He goes on, and he's like, you could be like my parents, and it shows an old lady and an older man sitting there just reading a newspaper, and she's just sitting there reading a book. And it's like, look, no physical contact, they don't even talk to each other. Ready? This is going to be the extent of my parents' conversation for the day. And the old man puts down the paper and goes, it was hot today. And he just go back to read a newspaper. Now the line that I've been asked to take out is this. You see that? It was hot today. Sometimes I wish my dad would just beat my mother so they would have more of a physical contact during the day. You know, a quick open hand slap, like, bitch, you call this supper? No. And he's like, oh, look at that. See, that's a lot more to go with than it was hot today. Now, I've been asked, I think there's more to it, but he's like, you call this roast? Bitch, shut up! Quick open hand slap to the face. See, a lot more options after that than it was hot today. So apparently, like a lot of football players are beating their wives is a hot topic. So they're like, it's funny, but can we take that out? And I was like, okay, we can have him be like, hey, I like my beer like I like my violence, domestic. And it didn't go over well neither. Apparently, they don't like spousal abuse jokes anymore. So I've been trying to figure out something else to put in there, but I wasn't like he is hitting my wife, his mother. I'm like, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the whole thing where
right
in the situation of the joke, it might be for all I know, my wife would completely agree with these women also.
Yeah.
So I'd probably get myself in trouble just for explaining the whole thing, but like
right.
it comes from an aspect of someone he's trying to make a joke with his buddies. It's not like he's sitting there like he actually wants his dad to beat his mom. He's making a joke, kind of like saying that they kind of need to do more with this than just sit there, read the paper or whatever.
Right.
So
the only option I was thinking was like, I wish sometimes my parents were swingers, but it doesn't work. For some reason, I wish my dad hit my mother so they would have a more physical and emotional.
Yeah, but basically, get the passion back into the relationship.
Exactly. If he's got to slap her to say I love you, then that's how he's got to do it. But it's about the thing, because at the end of that narration, he goes, because they would give him so many more options than it was hot today. Because if this is a selling point for being married for so many years and being in love, it's a terrible. If this is what it's like to be married for so many years and being in love, it's a terrible selling point. And it goes black, and the song comes in, and it goes to the present day with the 1-year anniversary of the radio station. His point is, like, if you watch somebody who's been together that long, who towards the end all they do is sit there and read a newspaper and don't talk to each other, is that really what people want?
Yeah.
And I get their point. I get why the girls are like, listen, it's...
Oh, yeah, I get it, too.
Because we had to deal with that 4 of a kind. Remember how hard it was? We didn't even cast the girl who was going to give the sloppy BJ and kiss the dude with this. Like, we couldn't even do and that was a funny bit. We had to, I think it was worse for Kevin because he had the fake stuff in his mouth after she kissed him. But we just couldn't get a girl. I asked so many girls, like, this is the part, and I got the same reaction every time. I kid you not, I can go back and show you all the messages and all the emails and stuff. That's a really funny part, but I can't do it. I'm like, it's not that funny then, no? We can talk about the 4 of a kind. There's a scene where a guy is getting mouth coitus. And she comes up and she's like, happy birthday. And she gives him a kiss and walks away, but as she pulls her lips, there's a string of sperm connected to his lips and her lips. And it was supposed to be like the big, Stifler drinking a spooge in American Pie. It was supposed to be the big get, but we didn't, but those are the hardest things to sell. Like, everybody who's read this is like, oh, I'll do everything in this. I got no issues. Because it's kind of raunchy. There's a character named Riley. He's going to steal the movie. He is the Randall. Like, I don't know why I didn't put some of these jokes to Pete's character, but they don't fit Pete's character. But Riley is going to steal the movie.
Yeah, he's going to be kind of like how, like in Clerks, it's like Randall. He's not really. He's more of a supporting character. He's not really a main character, but because of how his character is played, he really he steals that movie.
Yes, and all the funny jokes in this film are coming out of Riley's mouth. He is the pervert, the best friend, but he's also the hero. I won't go into details, but he's like just this filthy, funny guy, but at the end of the day, he does the right things when the right things need to be done. Very, very, like, he'll say the most absurd, mean thing in a funny way, but at the end of the day, he'll jump in front of a bull for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's very fleshed out, and he's very absurd.
I don't want to give any of his lines away because every line he says is a joke. It's not like here's a joke. It's just he says funny things. There's Dangerfield said there's two types of people in the world. There's people that say funny things and there's people that say things funny. And Riley is the guy that says things funny.
All right. So I remember you showing me the script a while back, and I remember there being a character in there who I know you originally were talking about having our good old friend Tom play.
Yes.
Are you planning on keeping that character in, and are we going to have Tom play as that same character, or are you going with someone else?
For Riley?
Yeah, not to keep kind of everyone kind of sitting around. Oh, is that Riley? Is that the same character?
Riley's cast.
Okay, but so I don't want to talk too much because if parts of it are in there, I don't want to give away too much because it's part of a different gags here.
At one time, I was considering Tom for Riley.
Okay.
For one reason. Because of the end scene, not the very end scene, but the part where he saves the day.
Yeah.
Because there's a
that's exactly the scene I was thinking of.
You know what I'm talking about? The me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can't give that away because in my eyes is the part where I want people to cheer.
Yeah, it's
or at least
it's a good little gag in there, and that's why I didn't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give away. Right. And I know we're like, to anyone who's listening, like, oh, come on, guys, it's like you're giving us just enough to kind of give us kind of a clue, but seriously, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much because I know it's part of a gag in there, and it'll really gag up the top.
It's an ongoing gag too because it's something that's like. It's something that's mentioned throughout the movie, and then finally at the end of the movie, you see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially now that I cast Riley, and it's a friend of mine, and it's really weird that I wrote this before I met him, because he is Riley.
Okay. Right. So you have someone else playing him.
Some of the stuff that's in here, script-wise, is some of the stuff he says at work. Like some of the stuff he says when we're hanging out. Like, he is Riley. I let my buddy Josh read who's going to play Adam, and I was like, dude, you got to read Riley. I want Andrew to play him. And he was like, all right. He was like, you don't have to have Andrew play him. That Andrew is Riley. That is him. I was like, I know. So I want you to think about this. Andrew's a bigger guy. Not as, kind of like me, but a little, Now think about that scene. I would have had Tom play.
Okay.
But he's fucking hilarious. I got Josh Neff. He's gonna play Adam. Which I wrote for somebody else, but he doesn't live around here anymore. That's in fact the reason I wrote it for him, and the character's name is Adam. And the first song they play in the Retro Abs 1 year anniversary is Rebel Yell. I'm pretty sure you can figure out who I wrote Adam for.
Yeah.
But Josh Neff is gonna be playing him. I'm probably going to be playing Pete Thompson. Oh, by the way, I'm down 37 pounds because I have to run in this fucking movie.
Awesome.
By the time we start filming, I want to say April. I'll say April. Mid-April is when I want to really start because I got to wait for the weather because it's a date movie and it takes place outside a lot. It gives me time to get stuff. I got to lock down one major location, which is not going to be easy. It's the only place I'm nervous about. All the other ones is pretty much sold. I even pretty much got a place for the anniversary party and the ending and all that stuff. It's just trying to get the music store. That's the only issue I have with it is trying to let the music store I want to use. It's a very family-oriented place, and it's a very, they're very nice and humble people. And I'm very nervous that when I ask them, they're like, oh, let me read the script. And they get 10 pages in, and we meet Riley. And he says what he says for the first time. And I'm like, they're going to be like, rip it up. And like, fuck that. That fat boy is not filming in our store.
Are you talking, when you say music store, are you talking about like Like they sell records or CDs and stuff?
No. Musical equipment.
Okay. So I think I know which one you're talking about then.
Yeah, it's the only one around here, Big Apple.
Yeah.
That's ideal. That's the one I want. That's the one I wrote it for. I wish I shouldn't have done, but I don't care. I'm going for gold on this one. And I just love that because the whole front of the store is windows, so it's nice and bright in there. It was save on lighting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a big old floor plan. You can walk around, you don't have to worry about moving anything. And it just looks nice.
Yeah.
It has that mom and pop owned, but it kind of looks corporate at the same time. It's a very, very nice store.
Yeah.
Because it's in the script, it's a store that his stepdad gives to him so he can run it while his dad goes to Florida to open another store. So, like, his stepdad's like, here, Pete, run the store. I'm going to Florida. I trust you. So he hires his buddies. So, like, Riley and all them guys work at the music store.
I'm wondering if there's a way we could get it to get them to agree to it in some way. I'm sure there's something we could figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be like, yeah, let's read the script. And what? 10 pages and he's talking about fellatio? Very nervous.
Yeah, like we can go more into detail. Cause I had other questions I was going to ask you about it, but I don't want to get too much into things that might take, I guess, any surprise of the way. It's of the film.
Hey, just ask away, and if I feel like it takes surprises, I'll decline the answer.
Well,
but the only thing I really give away is the end. Okay.
Well, I guess how much of the film would actually be located in there? In the music store.
A total of 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Because there's a big chunk right before the date where he's working and Riley's giving him shit because he posted an ad for a date.
Okay.
And it's a long scene. It's about 10 pages.
So there's definitely going to be some raunchy language in there. In the actual location.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I can actually hold on. I'll pop up the script right now, and I will give you a taste, a free sample for everybody.
Oh, look at this. Free sample.
I don't know if anybody's ever done this. Yeah.
Brought you right here.
The relationship line I was talking about. Okay, here we go. All right. So, interior. All right, here we go. We can go down to Riley. I'll give you a little taste of why. Okay, here we go. Riley is explaining to Pete. I'm going to give you a little backstory. Pete, the night previous, has posted an ad for someone to go out. Pete is not calling it a date. Riley's begging. It is begging to differ because you're going out with a female to date. It doesn't matter why you're doing it. Okay, so he's giving him a shit and he's nervous for his friend because something could happen on his date. All right, so Riley, this is some of the stuff he says to Pete. Now if you're owning a store, Alex, right?
Yeah.
And someone's like, hey, I would like to film a movie here. And you're like, okay, let me read the script. And you get to the part where they're in your store, and this is some of the dialogue. All right, Riley, pretend for a second that this is a date, and some not thin chick reads this, is like, oh shit, I'm gonna message this guy. He sounds as desperate as me, and I have cock in years. What's your point, Riley? What's my point? I thought I made my point. I must have missed it. Jesus, what if some fat endangered species of a human being comes in? Right? Not that bad, right?
Yeah.
Not that bad at all. Now, the part I'm nervous about. All right, everybody. Here we go. You ready?
Let's do it.
So when's your big non-date? Tomorrow night. Riley pauses. You're gonna get raped. What? Yeah, raped. Look, say you get there. Say you get to your non-date. It could happen. Right. Sorry, it's not a date. You get to your engagement, and some big hairy dude shows up, is all like, hey, are you Pete? And you're like, yeah, raped. Might not be a penis, but something's going in you. Now, would you allow that in your store?
Yeah, that might make me think a little more about it before actually.
Would you finish the script to see how redeeming that person has become? Now I'm reading it totally out of context because there's a lot of dialogue before that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is actually I'm looking at it now because I got it broke down. It is a 14-page scene with all dialogue, so that's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, that is.
And there is point counterpoint type thing, but I just wanted to read the two main things that I'm worried about is the I am talking to you type thing, and the you can get raped. Could happen.
I guess it really depends on the owners how they feel about it. But it's like I understand why you're worried about it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember when you showed me the script a while back. Like I remember that scene. Now that you're talking about it. But yeah, so right. I could see that. Definitely being a questionable aspect. But you know what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's worth trying.
Gotta go with the puck. Yeah. Fortune favors the bull. But all the other locations are pretty much easily to narrow down. Like, there's a batting cage. That's nothing right over here. They're like, you can just run it for $20 an hour. I was like, that's fine. The one thing I cut out was go-karts because we don't have no go-karts around here anymore.
Yeah, we used to.
When I rode this, we had them, but there's still mini golf in it, which isn't a problem. I can get the mini golf place.
Yeah, there are a few of those around here too.
The restaurant, I'm not worried about. It's not a restaurant; it's a bar. I'm not worried about that. I can get that easily. The only thing is the music store, and it's a key. My only backup is we might be able to find like a pawn store. They sell a lot of musical instruments and shit, and you can just fake it out with angles and shit.
Yeah. Or just change it up to a pawn shop.
Right, exactly.
Because I can see a pawn shop thinking, you know what, this is, in a way, it's like free advertisement for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how the music store might look at it too. It's like free advertisement.
And I can easily be like, we will cut you a new commercial for nothing. We will film you a new commercial for nothing. You let us film it. But it's gonna look good. It's gonna sound good. It's my job to make sure everything in focus is in focus and is proper. There's a scene with a fire truck, which easily can be. It sounds like that would be the hardest thing, but that's actually the easiest thing. It's my goal is to be done filming. The last day of filming is July 26th. Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me. So you start. When do you want to start?
I want to start in April.
April? Okay. And then July?
July 26th I want to film my last shot on July 26th, and the last shot we're gonna film. I want to be the last shot is the coffee shop, which is towards the end of pretty much the end of the date, where they're talking and Bell finds out Pete used to be the lead singer of the band, before he, let Adam take over and he walked away from the band because he had to start doing stuff he didn't do when he was with his fiance. Yeah. So they're at the coffee shop. It's a very sweet scene. It's one of the scenes I added, where Bell makes him go up on the stage in the coffee shop to perform by himself. And it's that scene where it starts off, when he starts singing at first, he's very emotional and stuff. And you see flashbacks of him and his fiance before she left. And then it goes to, he starts smiling when he's performing, he starts picking up the shots of him and Belle on the date. And he's like, it's that transition from getting over it into moving on. And I want that to be the last shot on the last day we film, and I want it to be July 26th.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it.
Well, what is that?
Alex, do you not remember? July 26th is the day that I was supposed to be getting married.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
So I want to finish the movie on that day.
Wow.
That's my goal.
You know, it's a good goal.
Yeah. That is the goal of the movie. This is a rare thing. Usually I'm like, I want to start filming here. It never happens. I don't have a start date yet. We have an audition coming up for the young lady in about 2 weeks. Actually, it's not even an audition. It's funny. It's a screen test. We're going to set the camera. We're going to do a scene. See how because it's all about chemistry. Belle and Pete have very fun. It's a very sweet chemistry they have. So we're going to do a screen test, set it up, and do a scene. And after that, I got 2 other girls that want to be in it, and we're going to do the same thing with them. And that's all we're waiting on. Yeah. And then we're going to start doing mass amounts of rehearsals and table reads and all that stuff.
Awesome.
And once the weather, I don't know, because it's fucking December 28th and it's 50 degrees out in upstate New York, so we could have filmed it now. So, I don't know what to tell you. But, spring weather,
Yeah.
I got to find a park. That is never going to be a problem around here. But
we have a bunch, and depending on we can even like rent out at least certain areas for it.
Yeah. I'm not worried about, like, we got the crane, I'm getting the Steadicam, I got the dolly. I'm not worried about any of that. My main goal is what's in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to be filming mostly weekends for all the main set pieces and all the big stuff. And then, like, here and there I can do coverage and pickups of, like, where Riley and Pete are roommates. We could just do that. You don't need a big crew and stuff for that. But I tell you what, we're going to be challenged. I'm not going to lie. The opening and end scenes, the first opening scene I told you is a 1-year anniversary of the Retro radio station. I almost said podcast. So it's a big event. It's like a party. Probably going to be like 30, 35 extras. Plus the cast and crew. It's going to be big. And then the ending ends in a similar fashion as it started, but instead of a 1-year anniversary, it's 8 months later, and it's the record release party for the band that Pete manages. So it's kind of bookends.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to take a couple weekends to film all of it, because the opening at the party for the Retro Ave, there is 20 pages of dialogue, meeting all the characters, setting everything up. Because Pete and Belle at the same party, and they'd never meet each other there. So she's over there with her group of friends, and it's like kind of dueling conversations. Like, the guys are enjoying the party, and they think all the 80s shit is cool, and her friends are like, this is lame. They're fucking serving Zima at the bar. What are we doing here? That's a line of dialogue. That's in the movie. Like, it's dueling conversations. You find out Pete's story, and you find out Belle's story, because her friends took her there because she enjoys that radio station and that music. They're trying to make her feel better because she just had a breakup. So she's there, you're learning her story, and you're learning Pete's story through the conversation he's had with his friends. Because Pete was on a date the night before, and he invited a girl, and she didn't show up, and his friends are very concerned about Pete, and he's like, it's fine. How come Bridget didn't come? I don't even think that's her name. Like, I don't even know her. Like, why are you guys sweating me? And then you find out his backstory. So it's going to be a lot of shooting the opening scene. The opening is the only one I'm worried about, just because of how big it is, how many people involved, and how many pages of dialogue there is. But I think it would be fun to film. Like, I actually added to it, just talking to the guys at work, because I work with all the guys that's going to be in it. And, like, they're some of the funniest people I know in real life. They're just hilarious dudes. And, like we're just shooting the shit, and something happened, I'm like, I'm putting that in the movie. I'm writing that now. And it was a very funny line. I'll give it away, because I wanted to start trending. Yeah. But you heard it here first. You know how sometimes I mess up my words when I talk, because I'm an idiot?
Yeah.
We were talking about masturbation. And I went to say the stranger, but some reason the challenger came out of my mouth. And buddy Josh was like, what the hell is a challenger? What is it? You start beating off and 10 seconds later you blow your load? And I thought, and I still think that's one of the funniest jokes I have ever heard. Because if you're familiar with the Challenger, it's a space shuttle that went up in 10 seconds and exploded. So from now on, in my eyes, so from now on, in my eyes, a guy with premature ejaculation is now called the Challenger.
So messed up.
And I was like, I'm pulling that in the movie. There's no way that's not going to the movie. Oh, what you do? Pull a Challenger? What's a Challenger? 10 seconds in, you blow your load. To me, that's literally one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard.
That's funny, but messed up.
I want people to start using it. What'd you do last night? You guys do it? Yeah, I pulled a Challenger.
So messed up.
It's ridiculously funny though.
It's funny, but oh man, it's so messed up.
And then we were laughing about it, and the lady at the table was like, older lady, she's like, do you guys know that one of the guys on that shuttle was from Mohawk? I was like, no. Apparently one of the guys is from around here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I kind of felt bad, but it's still funny.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But it's a comedy.
Yeah. It's
no, you know,
like comedies a lot of times are they're meant to be offensive in a funny way.
Right, but you know how we do it. We're gonna say our lines. We're gonna do it, and then all right, let's do it again.
Yeah, it's I could see a lot of improv.
Yeah, tons of improv. That there's a lot of improv. Like I know this because working with funny people.
So we actually just passed our hour mark for the podcast.
Damn, we only talked about 2 movies. One of them doesn't even exist.
Oh, not yet. It will be.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna. I started doing shot lists. I don't know if you saw the pictures I posted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw it.
You want to talk about tedious, dude? Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things when it comes to like making movies. It's just having the getting into a lot of those details. It's tedious and it's a lot of work. But you know what? It's like it's gonna make shooting a lot easier. It's like, I know exactly what we're doing next. We're doing this. These guys are standing here. No, they have to stand here.
Dude, I got the cue cards. I got 200 cue cards because right now there's 165 scenes. You break it down, right? So I was like, I'm gonna break this down tonight. And I brought the cue cards. I got the big old poster board. They got the tacks. 2 hours later, I'm on my 6th card, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
My goal with that is I put all the shots I need and on the cards. I put all the cards on the poster board, and every day we film, I take another card down. And we're going to keep going until there's no more cards on that fucking board.
It's a good idea to approach it that way. That's a good idea, honestly.
And there's going to be a treat at the end credits.
Oh, yeah?
For the most part, every time we get done filming, and I got what we need, and I got what I want, I'm happy with what we got, we're going to keep the cameras rolling, and we're going to pop on a song. And people, you can lip sync to it, dance, do what you want, and for the end credits, I'm going to mix that and the bloopers into it.
Cool. I like it.
Yep. Now, the song is probably going to be Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Just because it's fun, everybody seems to have fun with that song. I was going to use Come and Get Your Love, but, Guardians took that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want people to watch this movie, right? And when they get done, they watch the end credits, and I want people to go, it looks like they had a lot of fun making that movie.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to have fun. I want to deliver what I see in my head. Because as of right now, the movie's already filmed in my head. I just got to get it onto the camera.
Yeah.
The script is 165 pages, and it's a comedy, and it terrifies me. Because that's a lot of pages for comedy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure it'll go down once I rewrite the opening narration. I might save that page separately and still film it, and film what I rewrite for it, and whatever works best I'm going to use.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Awesome. Well, do you want to wrap up the podcast?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. You got a nice little sneak peek in on John's film. What was the name of it again?
Only One Night.
Only One Night. Hopefully, in about, let's say, you're going to try to finish shooting, you said it was June 26th?
July 26th.
July 26th. Of course, you have to assume it's going to be at least a month of editing and
yeah,
stuff like that. So maybe next fall you might be showing it.
I'm aiming for December.
December?
Yep, that's what I'm aiming for.
Awesome. So about a year from now.
About a year from now, just like Star Wars.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first.
Yep. Set realistic goals.
Right,
got an
awesome.
end date before I got a start date.
Awesome.
Yes, baby.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this week. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, shoot us an email, theretroave@gmail.com. Or sorry, theretroavenue@gmail.com. I forgot that's like the one thing I didn't shorten.
Yeah.
With the email. Because I created that first before I got the .com without knowing that the .com was not available yet.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's...
hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at AlexJonic. And of course, John is...
At John Davin.
Hit him up with tweets about the movie. If you're still looking for female actresses, right?
That I am.
Yeah, so
and we're gonna need extras like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, so hit John up on Twitter, and I think that's pretty much it. That's everything, right?
That's it, bub. For now.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, guys.